This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstye Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, special edition. It's season 7, episode 23, but a bonus one for all you people out there because cue the confetti or whatever. We don't have any special effects budgets, but Dan Snyder looks like he's going to sell the team. Wait a minute, this is the guy that never ever was going to change the name and never ever going to sell the team, but now he's confirmed that within minutes of it coming out, that he's hired Bank of America to go find him some buyers. And supposedly there's a handful, and we'll talk about that. But, you know, it didn't take Dan long for once to say something. And, well, maybe we'll sell part of it. BS. This is an all or nothing. Why would you spend $1 billion to be like a 20% partner? You know, the people that we're going to talk about, they can all write this check.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it's never done till it's done, but I think this is really it, that we're going to get rid of the Snyders.
Yeah, and, you know, I've been listening, obviously, since it came out yesterday afternoon to 106.7 and some of the guys on ESPN. I know PTI hit on it. And some of the guys like Kornheiser and Grant Paulson, they kind of seem to think, well, maybe this is just a ploy. This is another way to kind of pacify the fans and say, well, hey, look, we tried to sell the team. I couldn't find the number. And at the end of the day, you know, I value this franchise more than money, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you this, Rick, I got to give credit to Michael Wilbon. He called this probably about a month ago. I watch PTI on the regular, and he said, this is exactly what happened to the guy who owns the Phoenix Suns. It's kind of like the same pattern where they come out and say, oh, we're not selling. And now the team, they hired a firm to look for a new owner. I mean, you don't go that far unless you plan to sell the team. And Rick, honestly, it's not a bad investment for the guy. Really, if you look at it, he bought the team in '99 for $750 million. The team is valued at $5.4 billion. If you compare that to the Broncos sale, the Broncos got 25% more than what they were valued by the Walton family, the people that own Walmart. So I did a little bit of calculations, and roughly, if it goes the same way the Broncos did, I'd say roughly this team is probably going to sell for about $6.3 billion. That's a pretty good return on your investment, if you ask me.
Well, I think it'd be more like $7 billion.
I agree.
In the end, yeah, they've got quite a few people that wanted to buy this.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, including Jeff Bezos, who's now hooking up with Jay-Z. Oh, we're going to start looking at it. What, you drove by the store and saw a sale? Yeah, come on, man. Bezos has been looking for a team, and really this fits in well with him with the Washington angles of it. So I think it's going to go more like 7. When the team went up for sale in '97, they were thinking $250 million, and it went for $800. You know, and it would have gone to $1 billion had it gone back to the open market instead of Snyder taking over Milstein's failed bid. It would have gone over $1 billion then. So I just think there's several guys there. Okay, you know, I laughed. Bookies.com did a whole, you know, odds chart on it, and they had going to own this team in 2023 season, and of course they had Dan as the favorite because until he sells, he's it.
Yeah.
And Bezos, light one behind, and then we owns this, which I don't see happening, but he's 6.5 to 1. I think he's, you know, maybe he's doing the Nats. I mean, this is the ultimate hold my beer moment, you know, if he suddenly goes out. Then Steve Ballmer is interested. He's the Microsoft CEO rather, at one time, and the LA Clippers owner who paid $2 billion for the Clippers back in 2014, and everyone thought he was insane. And instead, he's made billions. The next guy, I had never heard of this guy. His name is Bihad Egabali, who has a private equity group worth $70 billion. He's worth about $3.5 billion. He's from Santa Monica, California. I don't know. Then to me, the guy I really want to look at is Byron Allen, who started the Weather Channel and a lot of more. He's like 60 TV show guy. He's from this area. He just missed winning, getting the Denver Broncos. Walmart money beat him. I think my preference would probably be to Byron Allen. I really am not a Bezos guy. I don't think that's the right one. And we own this too. They both want to see the sports betting, the marketing, the money. We already got a guy like that.
Mhm.
I want a guy who cares about football and winning. And I think Allen might be the guy.
I'll say this, of those names, I'm more leaning with the Bezos Jay-Z team, I guess you could call it. And I'll say this, look, Bezos, that is income that nobody else can combat. You know, he owns Amazon, he owns the Washington Post. Where I see they're going to maybe get into a little bit of a sticky wicket is the NFL deal with NFL or with Amazon Prime. It's Thursday night. Where's the game? It's on NFL Prime. So I could see there kind of being some sort of a, you know, like I said, a sticky wicket with that with the NFL. But here's my thing. The one thing that we've talked about over the past couple of years with Dan Snyder owning this team is their inability to romance the big name free agents, right? They've never seemed to. That was a staple of Snyder, you know, whether it's Bruce Smith or Deion Sanders or Andre Reed or whoever they wanted to bring in. That's who they got. Hainsworth. They got that guy. They got the best overall free agent, and they haven't been able to do that over the last couple of years. Why? Well, the team sucks. The stadium's garbage. You know, your stadium is half filled with the opposing team's fan, whatever we want to call it. But what it boils down to is Dan Snyder. Nobody wanted to come work for Dan Snyder. Nobody wanted to take Dan's money anymore. If you look, and I'm not even saying Bezos. Bezos is one of the richest men in the world. But you throw in a culture icon like Jay-Z, especially to a group of young African-American men who listen to his music, they're going to be more likely to, hey, I want to go play for Jay-Z. I don't care about, you know, the old fart that started Walmart's family. I want to go play for Jay-Z, you know, and I think that Jay-Z being attached to this is more of as a marketing PR type move for the team. Byron Allen, yeah, sure, that's nice. He's a local guy. I don't want another Allen associated with this team. I'm so sick and tired of Allens associated with this team that just the thought of it. I know he's not related to Bruce, but Jesus, we just got over Bruce. You know,
I want to get rid of a Snyder associated with this team.
Yeah, well, at least he spells his name differently.
Yeah, I've heard that joke, you know. But Allen would be a minority candidate. The NFL went to him with Bob Kraft and said, bid for Denver. So you know that they really would like him.
Yeah.
Got the dough. So
well, and it's a guy that's already been vetted by the NFL, if you think about it. You know, that's a guy that they said,
all right,
go bid for the Broncos. We've already vetted you. So it would be, and that's the thing too, Rick, is this has to be a quick transfer. You know, they meet next time in March. This is when they could approve the sale. So we have between November and March to get this finalized as far as I'm concerned, or we go into next season with Dan Snyder still holding the keys.
Yeah. All right, a couple quick hits before we go. First off, William Jackson traded for a bag of balls, basically. A 2025 picks. My God, you move up one round in 2025, but they got rid of that contract. So that was a great thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of knew it was coming. He didn't fit the scheme. And Rivera, I'll give props to Rivera, where I've been very critical of Ron. He came out the next day and he said, look, he just was a square peg in a round hole. We couldn't get him to fit our system. He's not that type of corner. And we didn't do a good enough evaluation when we brought him in here. So props to Ron.
Yeah, the other part, they're playing a game this week. Nobody ever talks about. They're playing Minnesota and Kirk Cousins. I'm picking Minnesota. I don't care. I know Washington won 3 straight, but, you know, Minnesota's a pretty decent team. If it was in prime time, we could bet against Kirk on this, but I think it's going to be a close game, but I'd say probably like 24-17 Vikings.
Does Young play this week?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm gonna stay. I picked the Vikings. We were supposed to take this week off, so I picked the Vikings. I'm gonna stick with that. I mean, look, they beat the Bears, the Packers, and the Colts. Those all three teams are down, and they're almost down where we are, to be honest with you. So I'm going to stick with the Vikings. The Vikings seem to be one of those upper tier type teams. But Rick, I want to go back to one thing real quick that you were talking about. I'm going to say no to Ted. I love Ted Leonsis. Don't get me wrong, for what he's done for this city, but at the end of the day, I think Ted still has his eyes on the Nats, and Ted's got this thing. Is he gonna try and redo the colors, the red, white, and blue, to match all the other teams in the league? So let's keep Ted. Look, Ted's got deep pockets. I don't think he has $6.5 or $7 billion for a football team. But I did want to ask you real quick while we have a little bit of time with the Nats sale. Is it the Masson deal holding this up?
Probably, because that factors into it a lot. You'd think they'd want to get this done in November, was always my thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're behind, but they need to get it done before December, because then you have to start figuring out your budget for free agents. Be nice to have somebody worth a darn on this team, that kind of thing. So, and a new owner may want a new manager or something, just like whoever buys the Commanders may want one. All right, last question. Do they keep Commander's name if Bezos or somebody else buys them? Could they switch it?
I think they will.
I did a poll on my YouTube channel, Rick Snyder's Washington. 80% of the people want a new name, because they're all so mad they lost their last round. I just say, make the stadium the Amazon, play Welcome to the Jungle. Everybody dress up like your favorite animal and have a hell of a good time. I honestly was thinking about retiring after this season, and I'm not going anywhere now if they're going to do all this stuff. This is going to be great. I want to stick around and see this.
Yeah, and I think where Snyder and company didn't have the deep pockets to go after it, I think Bezos would go after Red Wolves. That was the consensus pick of all the possible names for this team that they didn't get, that everybody seemed to like. Nobody wanted Commanders. I think Commanders was hey, nobody else has this name. The XFL is coming back. We're getting the Defenders back in DC. The Commanders is an XFL name. Let's be honest. It's not an NFL team name. And I think, honestly, whatever owner comes in here and replaces Dan Snyder has a lot of damage control to do with this fan base, because they have to know that the fan base is not happy where this franchise is right now. So I think they're going to do everything possible. They're going to look at every possibility. They're going to look into RFK and building a new stadium there. They're going to look into changing the name to something that people like. It's not going to be the Redskins. We all know that. They're not going back to the Redskins. However, it will be a name that people actually want to say and like. I can honestly, Rick, I see a new owner coming in here and gutting this place from top to bottom. And, he may retain like a Jason Wright just to kind of get him off his feet. But I think new GM, new team president, and it's going to be a trickle down effect, especially if it's a guy like Bezos. Bezos has no knowledge of football. So as far as like running a team, so he's going to put the very best people in the highest places that he can in his franchise in order to succeed.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. There'll be a lot more to talk about then. So make sure you come back. And I found my bell. So I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt, and I'm fired up.
We'll be back Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.